Hey! Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great big subscribe button down below. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content as we go along. If you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this wonderful book, Asexual Perspectives, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. I interviewed 46 asexuals across the globe and across the asexual spectrum for this book. And I'm also the founder of asexualise.com and the founder of Asexualise Academy. Well, what is the difference between a cuddle buddy and an asexual friend with benefits? That is what tonight's episode is all about. So first of all, we have to define what is a cuddle buddy. And obviously this is kind of open to interpretation a bit. So if I just go to some of the sites I've got up, I've mentioned a site called Quora before. And it's a very big, huge online forum with kind of lots of experts in their subject matter. They could be professionals or they could just be experts by experience. And so one of the questions that's actually in Quora, how do cuddle buddies differ from friends with benefits? Now, if you don't know what friends with benefits means, usually it's a sexual term. So usually friends with benefits means a sexual person would be friends with another sexual person and they basically have sex and do all the sexual stuff they do. So how do cuddle buddies differ from friends with benefits? And how do cuddle buddies differ from friends with benefits for asexuals? Because don't forget, as asexuals predominantly don't have sex, we don't experience sexual attraction. Some asexuals want a cuddle buddy. Okay, but is a cuddle buddy an actual cuddle buddy, or is it an asexual friends with benefits? So basically, you're getting some sort of relationship type pleasure out of it, but without the sex. So it's a very, very interesting topic to discuss. There are lots of cuddle groups around, including in the UK where I live. And a lot of asexuals do like to go to cuddle groups, but not just asexuals. So what is a cuddle buddy? A cuddle buddy is like a specific person that you want to go and cuddle, basically, but it's not as simple as that. So let me go to Quora and see what someone says there. Okay, so how do cuddle buddies differ from friends with benefits? So obviously Quora isn't a site for specifically asexuals, so when they talk of friends with benefits, are on about how do cuddle buddies differ from someone basically who's having sex with you, just classed as a friend, not in a relationship with, because that is really what a traditional friends with benefits is in the heterosexual world. A friends with benefits is someone that the partners have sex with each other, but they're not actually in an official couple relationship. It's a bit like have your cake and eat it, if you pardon the asexual expression. So this is what this guy is saying on here. Friends with benefit is a euphemism for two people who have an ongoing sexual relationship but don't think of themselves as a couple. Not only are they non-monogamous, they have no expectations of accountability regarding their involvement with other partners. There is no pair bonding, no romance, no feelings of infatuation, no courtship, just an existing platonic friendship and tacked on casual sex. Excuse the language here, but fuck buddies is another term describing the same type of relationship. So yeah, be very careful if ever a sexual says, do you want to be F buddies? You know what it means now. So you've got to be very careful if a sexual ever asks you to be cuddle buddies, because it usually means fuck buddies. Okay, so be very, very careful. So cuddle buddies, as the name implies, cuddle each other. They express fondness for one another through gestures of physical but non-sexual affection. Whereas friends with benefits are indulging their lustful appetites, cuddle buddies just need to be touched in a kind, though non-sexual, social way, such as parents cuddle their children. Okay, so this is basically one person's opinion. But in another person's opinion, by doing things couples do, friends with benefits or cuddle buddies or fuck buddies or whatever you want to call it are the same to me. So this is another person's opinion. More than friends, it's complicated. If you do what you wouldn't do with other friends, then it's either couple, love interest, or something else. But if you're a heavy believer in that, then yes, cuddle buddy, only cuddle, Netflix and chill without the chill. Friends with benefits, let's get right down to business, put that hot dog in the bun, but we can still be friends, okay? Nothing more. That's how someone describes it. So, it depends on what your definition of cuddle buddies. And that's where the danger lies, is that you've got to make sure that if you have a cuddle buddy, they're on exactly the same page as you. They want the same thing. And obviously boundaries will have to be discussed. Do you see what I mean? For me, I couldn't be with someone personally and cuddle them unless I was in a relationship with them, because I'd have feelings for them. I'm not going to lie to you. I would definitely have feelings for that person. I don't want to cuddle someone I don't have feelings for. I hug my friends hello and goodbye, but I couldn't do cuddling. It's too intimate for me. That's something I consider only in a romantic relationship. But I think more asexuals that are platonic in nature and that like platonic friendships are more probably likely to cuddle, because maybe more aromantics as well, because there's less likely to be feelings involved from them, because they don't experience romantic attraction. Aromantic asexuals don't experience sexual attraction or romantic attraction. So if they cuddle someone as a cuddle buddy, it kind of really is a buddy, because they're not experiencing those feelings necessarily. But some aromantic asexuals, they can still have crushes sometimes. They can still have aesthetic attraction. They're not completely devoid of any types of attraction, So I still think it's kind of like for me, I think it's a bit dangerous territory, But I do know there's asexuals that do participate in cuddle groups. I mean, cuddle groups, as opposed to cuddle buddy, is where you meet up with a group of people and you go around cuddling them. And I suppose in a way that could be better in the sense that you're not sticking to one specific person. So you're less likely to become involved with just one person and it's centered around you two, even though you're not really a couple. But then you're going to go around cuddling lots of different people. And what if there's people there you don't really want to cuddle, but you feel obliged to? Do you know what I mean? Because it's a group. So I think there's pros and cons to both. And it's interesting about the definition of because if you look at different definitions of cuddle buddies, they mean different things. So I think you've really got to put it into context as well, about, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Some websites that talk about cuddle buddies, they actually talk about making out and stuff like that as well. So I can't remember if I can get that site back up. Of what I was just doing. I'm looking on my computer at the moment because I'm reading stuff out from it as well. But there was one definition of cuddle buddies and it was all about making out as well. Obviously, to me, that's something you would do in a romantic relationship. So so Urban Dictionary, a partner in which one may cuddle with, usually not in a relationship with one another. They only seek the affection of cuddling with another person. But there is one, I don't know where I saw it. There's one site that says about the fact, of making out and stuff like that. So I think you've got to really, really find out what it means to you and what other people think of it. Because in some of them, literally they are about, they're about showing a lot of affection, so they do involve some touching, and to some asexuals that might be too much. So I think you've got to have really clear defined boundaries, even if you're asexual meeting other asexuals. Some asexuals like to be touched more than others, but yeah, I did find one definition of cuddle buddy is where you won't, you don't have the sex, but you might fondle or caress or, they use the word making out, which is basically fondling and caressing, really. So I think you've got to really be careful that you define cuddle buddy in the same way as the people you're going to cuddle with, if you get my meaning. I, as an asexual romantic person who's fiercely monogamous, would not want to go around cuddling loads of different people, and especially not if I was actually in a relationship. I wouldn't be right for me. Do you know what I mean? I personally think cuddling should be either with someone I'm dating if I want to be in a relationship with them, or with someone I'm actually in a relationship with. But there is professional cuddling services. There's like Find a Cuddle Buddy, cuddlecomfort.com is just one that's come up in my Google feed. I know on meetup.com there's quite a lot of cuddle groups. I know someone who isn't asexual who's in one of them. So you know, there are sites to cuddle. So obviously it's a big thing for people. You know, so there are a lot of people that do want cuddling. I've seen people. I thought it was quite sad actually. I saw a woman on TV with her husband, and her husband doesn't really give her much affection, so she hires someone to cuddle her. And I just think that's so sad. You know, like, your husband should be doing that for you. If he can't be doing that for you, then get another husband or divorce him. You know, I just think it's disgusting, to be quite honest. You know, what's the point in being in an intimate relationship with someone if they're not going to cuddle you, but they're just probably going to have sex with you by the sound of it? So, you know, so there's cuddlecomfort.com. We'll find you a cuddle buddy so you can start a friendship based on cuddling without any expectations of something more. I'm not being funny with you though. Most people who go on these sites, they'll still have stuff in the back of their mind. Do you know what I mean? You'll still have, usually people will still have stuff in the back of mind, because it says without any expectations of something more, start a friendship. Do you know what I mean? It's all very well saying that, but you know, no two people are the same. You're going to have different expectations. And with any type of relationship, whether it's a friendship or meeting up for cuddles and stuff, you still got to feel safe around the person. You still got to establish same boundaries, the same expectations. I mean, are you going to meet for a cuddle like once every week? Is it going to be at a set time? Is it going to be a set day? How long are you going to spend with the person? What type of touching are you going to allow? Are you going to allow holding hands as well? Are you going to allow, you know, making out? Are you going to allow you know, like touching the face, the body? You know, what are you going to allow? Because some people might have a cuddle and it might be sat between the person's legs. Another person might have a cuddle and the person's just putting their arms around them, and another person might have a cuddle and they're full on like there for hours, like arms full around. So I think that the thing is, it's boundaries again, isn't it? Unless you've got both the same clearly defined boundaries in place, then that's when there's a problem. And also there's a psychological aspect, you know, especially if either of you are romantic, then it's very difficult, I think, when you've got a lot of physical contact with someone, to not fall in love with the person. Because, you know, after a time of spending all that time together, it's kind of like you've invested in that person. Do you know what I mean? You've invested time, you've invested energy, and to all intents and purposes, you've really invested some of your emotions in them as well. Because, you know, human contact is still a very emotional thing. And so, you know, I think you've got to be aware of this, you know. To be honest, like a cuddle buddy could also be classed as an asexual friends with benefits, because an asexual friends with benefits would be someone that you do a lot of stuff like you do in a relationship with, but without the sex, which is pretty much what an asexual relationship looks like anyway. Do you see what I mean? So I think with asexuals, it kind of can be, you know, like, it depends what the cuddling involves, you know, because to all intents and purposes, the cuddle buddy could do the same thing as an asexual friends with benefits. You know, someone was asexual, and, you know, I mean, that I wouldn't want you to fall in love with someone, for example, who was asexual but didn't want to commit, you know, because you do get the danger that some other asexuals, they won't want to commit, and maybe you do actually want a relationship. You're going around getting cuddles because you can't get a relationship at the moment, but really you want a relationship. So there's an underlying reason as to why you want to do it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I just think you have to think of your motive of why you want a cuddle buddy. And to be honest, I think personally, a cuddle buddy, a lot of times, asexual cuddle buddy as opposed to a cuddle group, someone you're personally cuddling, you and them are meeting up personally, individually together, you know, I think there's a lot of chance that you could actually fall for each other. If that's what you want and you both want that, that's great. But if one person is just a commitment phobe, I mean, I've met a guy online and, you know, he could do cuddling stuff, but he doesn't want commitment. And you have to understand there's still the dangers of that in a person, that there's some people who they don't want to commit. So therefore they'll have cuddle buddies to satisfy their asexual physical needs without the commitment, and someone could get hurt in that type of relationship. I mean, like I said, it depends on the boundaries of what's allowed, what's not allowed. A cuddle buddy could literally just be someone you cuddle, but you have strict rules about, you don't kiss them or you don't touch them in certain places. And then a full-on relationship, if you're more romantic, might mean you touch their breast, touch their privates, or touch, or do intimate kissing with them. So therefore, there's more of a defined difference between a cuddle buddy and something more. But if you go by some dictionary definitions or some definitions of what an idea of a cuddle buddy is, with the making out and stuff, which some asexuals do really like, that to me is like an asexual friends with benefits. You're just not having the sex, but you're still having all the other physical kind of sexual contact, whether you think it's sexual or not. It's still, you could call it sensual contact. You're still having that physical intimacy with another person. Don't forget, if a heterosexual was touching breasts and genitals, they would say that's sexual contact. If an asexual says they're for example, touching the breasts and touching the body, they might say it's sensual. Okay, so sexual and sensual, can be different, or could be the same contact. If a guy touches me on the breasts and he's heterosexual, it's sexual contact. If an asexual person touched me on the breast, to them it would probably mean that it was just sensual because they like touching the body. It's the same act, just different intentions and different thinking. Do you see what I mean? And this is why relationships are so difficult, whether they're friendships or otherwise, because most of the time, two people will feel differently about any type of relationship. I don't think you will ever get two people feeling exactly the same about everything and anything in a relationship. So I think you have to be fully aware of what you're going into. Some people don't think twice about it. They'll go to cuddle groups. And I think a cuddle group does give you an advantage in the sense that you're not focusing all your energies and efforts on one particular person. You're meeting up in a group of people, probably to chat and stuff, cuddle and things as well. And, it's a bit more formal. But, like, some people aren't comfortable being in groups and doing that. Some people do prefer to just do it one-to-one. So, but there are genuine professional cuddle services, stuff like that, Cuddle Comfort. So they're saying why it matters. Cuddling plays such an important role in our well-being. It's a natural antidepressant, relieves anxiety and strengthens our immune system. The problem is we're not getting enough of it. Where's it gone? This skipped. Anyway, it says the problem is we're not getting enough of it, and why it matters. It's skipped now. I went on their first page and it's basically changed now. So, here we go. A major hurdle is that we typically need to be in a relationship first to be afforded the opportunity to cuddle. The greater challenge is that we live in a world focused on social media, and time spent interacting face to face has fallen dramatically as a result. That wouldn't really matter if it weren't for the fact that we have an innate need for physical affection, and an absence of that causes tangible harm to our well-being. We're tackling this head on with our new version of social networking, one with the sole purpose of encouraging human contact and improving your health. Now, obviously, some asexuals can still love and still be happy without any physical contact, I have to say. So obviously, for example, some aromantic asexuals, or aromantic as they're called, asexuals, they don't actually need any physical contact. Some asexuals don't. There are a few that are touch adverse, in fact, and they do not want to be touched at all. And I just want to make it plain and clear that although this isn't an asexual site I'm talking about, this Cuddle Comfort now, right? I'm not saying asexuals don't go on it, because maybe they do. I don't know it. I've just randomly picked this off the internet to have explore the terms and see what they're offering and why they say it matters. Now, cuddling, can have really good health benefits, but it depends what comes with the cuddling. That's what I'm saying, because I'm an asexual channel that talks about asexual dating and relationships, and I don't just tell you what you want to hear all the time. I tell you the truth. If you're polyamorous person, then yeah, cuddling would probably be great for you, because obviously you're quite happy to have multiple relationships usually anyway. So, you're more likely to benefit from cuddling. But again, you still might fall for the person. And if that's not your intention, you still got boundaries as well, because there might be stuff you're not comfortable with that they do want to do in cuddling. Cuddling might mean more. Don't forget, asexuals are very varied on the spectrum. And I have to say, I don't want you to think, just because I read that out, that if you don't hug anyone, cuddle anyone for ages, or have physical contact with someone for ages, you can still be healthy and happy. I want to make that clear. Like when I was younger, I have to say I was depressed, but I didn't really like touching. I didn't really like physical contact. And I was depressed at the time, but I don't think it was to do with depression. I didn't think it was to do with depression back then. It's because people were very negative around me all the time. It wasn't a very good environment for me to be in. I was being bullied at school and all sorts, And I think obviously with your parents, it's quite nice to cuddle someone, but I didn't even want to cuddle them when I was younger, So I think I just want to say, that if you're not cuddled for months on end or whatever, it doesn't mean to say it's the end of the world. I mean, you can cuddle yourself. You do know this, don't you? I think there's so many stigmas and stereotypes that you can't do stuff with yourself because, why are you touching yourself? Why are you doing this, that, and the other with yourself? And it's really important, you can give yourself a hug at any time, give yourself a cuddle. Kiss yourself on your hand if you want, just be beautiful to yourself, give yourself an arm rub, and I think we forget that. I think we forget our lives are so caught up with other people and being with other people and seeking comfort with other people that we sometimes forget to love ourselves fully in the moment. And, like I've had to comfort myself numerous times. I've had to give myself a nice big cuddle and like an arm rub and say things will get better, You're all right, Sandra. Things will get better. You'll be fine, I think you have to do that. Maybe I haven't done that enough with myself lately. I'm like, oh, that feels nice, I'm like, oh, I want to do it some more now. But yeah, I think there's a huge stereotype and stigma that if you cuddle yourself, it's like classed as something really weird and far out. But actually, I think you should cuddle yourself more, because even the stroke of the arms and things like that, and the pulling yourself to your own body, it does make you feel comforted somehow. And I think, it's vastly overlooked, that thing. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of, like more for other people, I think you think. So, hi, Butterscotch, and hi, Michael. Yeah, sensual is the word I use. Okay, that's good. Yeah, but I just have to understand that some sexuals think of something else, don't they? That's the thing. So there's another site and there that talks about why cuddling is good, right? So again, I'm reading off the internet, so sorry if I'm looking down, right? I mean, obviously, it's pretty obvious it can release endorphins and stuff like that. So according to Urban Dictionary, a cuddle buddy is a person you cuddle in a completely non-sexual way. Okay, this is like, so they're saying of some of the reasons why it's good to have a cuddle buddy. You get all the relationship perks without the headache. Let's be real, cuddling is one of the biggest advantages of being in a relationship. Oh, and you can do all kinds of other activities with your cuddle buddy. You guys can eat together, watch movies, talk. You can do anything really. And that's what I mean. To me, a cuddle buddy is very similar to an asexual relationship. Do you know what I mean? Just without the commitment. So I think you have to be very, very careful. Like I said, I think if you're an aromantic asexual, doesn't experience romantic attraction, I think it could quite work out well for you. But I think if you're a romantic person, it could be very difficult, because I think you'll get some romantic feelings, because cuddling is a very romantic gesture in the romantic world, if you know what I mean. Whereas cuddling can also be a platonic thing if you're coming from platonic feelings. So I think you really have to establish, like where you're coming from, and the other person. If I was to get a cuddle buddy and they were aromantic, it'd be bad for me, because I would fall in love with them, no doubt, and they wouldn't love me back, no doubt, unless they wanted a platonic relationship. They might love me in their own way. It might be possible, but they might not want a relationship if they're aromantic. Do you know what I mean? And it would be weird. I wouldn't want to, I wouldn't want that to happen, me falling in love with someone and then not be in love with me. Or, a lot of aromantic asexuals, they don't actually want to be in a relationship. But there's a few who do, but they might a more platonic one. But it'd be no good to me if I was, like if an aromantic person wanted a really cuddly relationship, but they didn't want the kissing, that would be no good for me. Do you see what I mean? So an aromantic and me going together wouldn't go together unless the aromantic happened to just like kissing as an activity to do. Do you know what I mean? There's an aromantic sexual person who follows my one of my asexualized pages, and she's, even though she's aromantic, she lacks romantic attraction. She's sexual, not asexual. With her, I think it's with her husband, she loves kissing and a physical affection. So her behavior is very similar to a romantic person's, so that, you know, the her husband doesn't really feel any different in that way. You know, he can still get all the romance and kissing he wants. So it's very she's unusual in that way. I thought, yeah, maybe that could work if I was with an aromantic asexual person who really just loved kissing and all that lot. But again, the feelings are still different. So yeah, I think you know, I think when you're reading about, you get all the relationship perks without the headache. I think, you know, it can be like, do you know what I mean? An asexual relationship and cuddle buddy, sometimes they could, you know, they could be very similar. You know what I mean? So, but it kind of is like asexual friends with benefits, I think, in some ways. Do you know what I mean? Because the benefit is you're cuddling them, but not being in a relationship with them. So you don't need to be committed in that way. Do you know what I mean? So cuddling is good for your health. Yeah, it's meant to be good for your health because it releases so yeah, according to research, cuddles are associated with higher oxytocin levels, low blood pressure, and even a lower heart rate. I like kissing, as you know. So I love dopamine from kissing and all that type of thing. But yeah, I couldn't kiss. I don't want to kiss someone that I'm either not dating or in a relationship with personally, because I just fall in love too easily as a hyper romantic. That's me. Doesn't mean to say everyone's like me, you know. So cuddling makes us happy. If you're sad, a hug will put a smile on your face in no time. Everyone knows that. Yeah, but there's a difference between a hug and a cuddle, isn't there? Like a hug is kind of like quick. It's like quick hug. Usually they're quick anyway. You know, like put your arms around someone. Nice to see you. Cuddling is like really, really like bringing the person in close to you, and you know, like you're in their cuddle, so you're in like an extended hug, a hug for a very, very long time, and you're very physically close to the person. Well, you're saying, Michael, I don't need cuddling, but I'm not averse to it, so I'd let someone else cuddle me. Oh, really, Michael? Wow, you surprised me. But how would the other person feel if they cuddling you and they start being attracted to you romantically, for example? How would that work? Because you wouldn't want a relationship and they might. Do you see the complication there? If you don't need it and you're not averse to it, so you might let someone else do it, but what if they start being attracted to you? Do you know what I mean? So they were romantic asexual. I don't think that would work. Yeah, but it could happen, you see. Someone who's romantic cuddling you could get feelings for you. They'd have to be the same type of asexual as you, I think, or really mean what they say. But you know, personally, if I was cuddling someone, I'd get feelings for them. I just know I would. I can't really cuddle someone I haven't got feelings for. To me, I just wouldn't want them near my body. See, that's the thing with me. I don't want someone close physically to my body cuddling me unless I'm in a relationship with them. It just feels weird and wrong. I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, but I think, you know, if you've got a person who's got the same sort of mindset, but I mean, you know, even in relationships, even like sexual relationships with friends with benefits, as in they're having sex, one of the people usually, honestly, ends up having feelings for the other person, even though they swear they don't. One of them does, you know, and that's what usually happens, you know, because they have the sex. One of them falls in love with the other one. The other one doesn't really need the other one. They might be in a relationship with someone else, and then all hell breaks loose, and one of them ends up being really unhappy, or both of them in the end. You know, it can't go on forever and a day usually. Not most people can't. But yeah. Cuddles help us de-stress. You know, when you're super stressed from school or work, the answer is cuddles. Researchers from University of Wisconsin have found that cuddles reduce cortisol levels, which in non-medical terms means that they may help us relax. Cuddles boost our self-esteem. You see, The logic behind this is the following. If someone wants to spoon me, it means someone needs me, so I'm not completely useless. As a consequence, you feel better about yourself. You see, that's not good. You shouldn't need someone else to stop making you feel completely useless. I don't think that's very good about this blog. You know what I mean? You shouldn't need cuddling to prove that you're not a useless person, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, because I've never really needed cuddling from outside people, I definitely know I'm not useless if I don't cuddle anyone. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I love kissing. Like, I could kiss for hours, and I find it very frustrating I don't have anyone to kiss. And some people said to me, "Oh, well, you should set up a like." You should. It didn't even occur to me that letting other people cuddle me, even though I don't need cuddles, would make them want more. Well, of course it does. Of course it does. Like, the more you cuddle someone, if they enjoy it, the more they want it from you. And like, when are you going to agree to meet up with them to do it more? When are you going to like? I think if you're in a group, for example, a meetup.com cuddle group, I think it's a bit different, as in the sense there's lots of different people to cuddle. But if you're going to be an actual cuddle buddy to someone, I'm not saying, but even in a meetup.com situation where you're cuddling other people, you can still fall in love with someone. Don't you know, if you're meeting up regularly and there's the same sort of people you're cuddling with, you can still fall in love with someone. It's not like never gonna happen, is it? For anyone. Some people it will happen for. But yeah, it's not. People have to understand that for every action in life, there's a reaction. Every action, there's a reaction. Well, that's a good reaction or a bad reaction. So whenever you do something in your life, you also have to think about the other person feelings, you know. And I think people don't think that, you know. People just think of themselves in the moment. They don't think of the reaction that you could get from other people, you know. And of course it's going to make them want more. If they enjoy cuddling you, if they think you're a nice person, they feel comfortable and safe and happy with you, they'll want more. And I thought cuddle would end with the cuddle. A cuddle buddy is someone you ongoingly cuddle with. That's what a cuddle buddy is. Someone you meet up for and cuddle with regularly. Whereas a cuddle meetup group is someone you is like might have a meetup group like once a week or once a month where you cuddle different people and you choose to go or you don't choose to go. But do you know what I mean? If there's a cuddle buddy, you're meeting up specifically for the purpose of cuddling. And you might be doing other stuff as well, but that's what a cuddle buddy is, isn't it? Someone you're meeting up specifically with for a cuddle. And a cuddle is not the same as a hug. A cuddle is a long, like, you know, you could be watching a movie together for 2 hours and you're cuddling each other for 2 hours. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, if you're a cuddle buddy, you're basically seeing each other regularly for cuddles. Like, if you're friends with benefits in the sexual world, you'd be meeting up meeting up with another person, not in a relationship with them, but having sex. You'd be their friend and having sex with them, basically. If you're a cuddle buddy, then you'll be meeting up with these people for cuddles regularly, usually, presumably. You know, if you're an actual cuddle buddy. Otherwise, you might just go to a meet-up group, have a cuddle once in a blue moon, or you can choose, obviously, how often you go to a cuddle meet-up. But if you love the cuddles, if they're releasing all these dopamine and stuff like that, then people are going to want it more from you, aren't they? If you're there, I think you've got to be very careful. Like, this is what I hate about this blog post, this particular part of it. Cuddles boost our self-esteem. If someone wants to spoon me, it means someone needs me. And spooning's often done in bed as well, I think. You know, it's when someone comes up behind you and cuddles you from behind. I mean, if I've got a guy cuddling me from behind, he's touching my breast usually. Do you know what I mean? That's a very, very intimate thing. To me, that's a friends with asexual friends with big benefits to the other person. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want a guy who, you know, touching my breasts, especially not one that I'm not in a relationship with. If I was in a relationship for a very long time, maybe I'd let him do that. But you know, not a cuddle buddy. It's like, get off me, you know. And I just think it's a really bad that they put this in. It means someone needs me, so I'm not completely useless. As a consequence, you feel better about yourself, and you shouldn't be using other people to make yourself feel better about yourself. Your love and your self-esteem should come from within, not reliant on other people, you know. And you've got to remember that if it does release a lot of all hormones that make you feel great, people could become more and more needing of that. You know, like you could be like, you know, needing to meet this person more and more because you love the feeling it gives you. Like, I love kissing. I make no secret of that. Like, if a guy gets in a relationship with me, I want a lot of kissing. But can he handle all the kissing that I need? I don't know. You know, I can kiss for like 4 hours quite happily, but can he? Do you know what I mean? So you got to be very careful because it does release a lot of chemicals in me to make me feel awesome, you know? But I can still get those chemicals from other things on my own as a single person. Like if I go dancing, if I just do like loads, you know, dancing at home, you know, it releases chemicals as well. But I love kissing. It's one of my favorite things to do in a relationship. But you know, I'm fully aware that I might want to kiss for 4 hours, and I need a guy who's very well matched to me in kissing needs. Because if a guy like just wants to kiss for 10 minutes and I like want to kiss for hours, it's really not going to work, is it? He's going to get fed up with the fact that I want too much kissing from him. I'm going to get fed up with the fact that my physical asexual needs are being neglected. Do you see what I mean? So just because I'm asexual doesn't mean to say I haven't got physical needs. I do know that cuddling, it does nothing for me. I just like the idea of other people being happy. Yeah, it does nothing for you. I just like the other idea of other people being happy. But have you actually tried it, Michael, for ages? It'd be interesting to know. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? How long have you cuddled for someone? But, you know what I mean? But there, like you said, if it does nothing for you, then what if it's doing stuff for the other person? Because presumably it is. Otherwise, they wouldn't have you as a cuddle buddy. This is different to just a one-off cuddle. I'm talking about an actual cuddle buddy. Do you know what I mean? Um, so I think it's really important that, you know, like just because you don't feel anything, another person could, and that's the danger. You see, the danger of cuddle buddies, having one nominated person as your cuddle buddy, or maybe you have multiple cuddle buddies. Some people might have multiple cuddle buddies because, technically speaking, you're not in a relationship, so you can go and have multiple cuddle buddies if you want. Do you know what I mean? Not it's not monogamous, is it? So you could have like 5 or 6 people who are cuddle buddies. But yeah. But what if one of those people happens to start be attracted to you or feel romance for you and stuff? Or what if they think you think differently? I personally couldn't do it, but there you go. But yeah, so you know, I think it's I think it's a bit dangerous on the latter part of this blog about what it's saying, because you know, you shouldn't feel useless not cuddling someone or not having physical contact. I'm in my flat for days and I don't have any physical contact with anyone. Do you know what I mean? I'm not there going, oh, I'm useless. I'm there thinking, what useful thing can I do to push my life forward, you know? You won't feel lonely is something they put, obviously, because cuddling involves another person. Nobody wants to be lonely during cold winter nights, right? I mean, again, this is very, very bad from a self-esteem point of view. You shouldn't need other people to like cuddling other people to stop you feel lonely. Yes, I do agree for health and well-being that you do need human connection and contact, right? Because I worked for the recovery learning community, which is part of the NHS, and I used to teach people social media for the recovery of mental health. So while everyone's kind of slagging social media off, I used to teach blogging, Facebook and Twitter for recovery and mental health. The blogging course really helped people. I'd highly recommend blogging to anyone who suffers depression or some sort of mental ill health, to like really get your feelings and emotions out and connect with other like-minded people. It's really good, and it really helped someone who did the course. She came on the course like April, May, and she said it's the first time she felt happy since the previous July, you know, so it kind of really changed her life. And she went back into like work as well after my course, so it's really good. But you know, I think that you've got to really make sure that you're not alone with yourself, and that you're still loving yourself and you still feel like a complete, whole, useful person in and of your own right. I don't think you should be using other people in that way. However, I used to do in this teaching that I used to learn about the 5 ways to well-being, and one of the things to well-being is human connection. But that doesn't just mean physical, you know, it can mean I haven't cuddled another person since I was a kid, but my cat likes to cuddle me. Oh yeah, exactly. Um, I love pets. They're gorgeous, aren't they? Um, so yeah, I mean, one of the 5 ways to well-being is connection, but it doesn't is human connection, but that doesn't necessarily mean, that it has to be physical. It means you have to connect with other human beings. I do think physicality is important to a certain extent, but I don't think it's necessary that you have to have it to be happy, because you know what I mean, some asexuals, they don't like to be touched at all. And I want to give a very positive message out to say that you're fine as you are. If you don't want any touching, that's fine. You can still be happy in and of your own right. You don't need to have another person to make you happy. And I think that's a very important that, we get that down. Obviously, if you were the type of person that's completely cut off from everyone in the world, then yeah, that would be bad for you because you haven't got any connection. But connection can mean like speaking to people, even online. It can mean, because you're connecting with people. It can be a connection of the mind, a connection of the spirit, a connection of the soul, a connection where you're talking to someone. It doesn't have to be involving any physical contact at all if you don't want it to. But there are benefits of cuddling in the sense that it can make you happy. It can release hormones that make you feel good. But I don't want people to rely on that thinking they're anything less of a person because they've not got anyone to do that with. I think it's very hard for romantic asexuals who really do need the physical contact. They really do need the physical cuddling. I mean, I would like to have a romantic relationship. One of the main reasons is because I love kissing so much. I personally find it very, very difficult not being in a relationship able to do that. I can kiss myself to a certain extent, but there's only so much you can kiss yourself, right? And most people won't even admit to doing that, right? Of course they're not going to admit to doing that. I do. It's great. But you know what I mean? It's kind of like I find it really difficult. So I do understand why people do seek to cuddle other people. I do understand why there's cuddle groups available. I do understand why people want a cuddle buddy. I do understand why people want to meet and cuddle because it makes them feel good. And I think with asexuals, some asexuals, they just need that physical contact, they really do need that from other people. And I think, you've got to do what's right for you whilst being very aware of the other people that you're cuddling with, of their feelings and emotions, as well. I think you need to just have some conscious awareness about these things. That, it's like when I go on asexual dating sites and people don't put anything in their profile, and I might approach them saying, well, what are you looking for? Some of them don't even know, and they don't put anything in their profile. It's like, you're not writing your profile for you. You're writing it for other people because other people are looking for a relationship on that. Or even if they're looking for friendship, it's nice to find things they have in common with people, isn't it? So some people tend to be very single-minded and they don't think about the bigger picture. It's like on asexual dating sites, people should be filling out their profile of what they're really looking for and more about themselves. Even if they just want friendships, in order to form better friendships, they need to be filling out their profile more, you know. But there are asexuals that do go to cuddle groups. There's people who are not asexual that go to cuddle groups as well. So don't think it's just asexuals. There are people who are sexuals that go to cuddle groups. Like I said, I know a guy who goes to one. He lives in the UK, and there are lots and lots of cuddle groups. So it must be a very, very popular thing. And maybe some people go there because maybe they do actually want to meet a partner, but they just don't tell you that. So I think you just have to be very fully aware of everything you're getting yourself into. I think if you like to cuddle and, maybe if it doesn't, cuddles are just a cuddle to you, don't have no feelings, that's fine. But you just got to think of the other people that you're cuddling as well. Do they all feel the same as you? I think you have to put boundaries in place, especially if you're a cuddle buddy and you're seeing this person on your own. I think there's a lot more health and safety that you need to do about that. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're meeting up in a group environment, it's a bit more safer and secure, isn't it? You've got other people around you. You're meeting strangers when you first meet up with them. You don't know what they're like as people. You don't know what their mind's like. You don't know what their intentions are. But if you get alone with a person like that, you are in more danger, especially if you live on your own. Because there's are their boundaries the same as your boundaries? Are they going to respect your boundaries? Are they really after a cuddle buddy, or are they something more? Are they really asexual, or are they really sexual? If they're sexual, most sexuals will not want just a cuddle buddy unless they're not getting any affection from their partner, and then they kind of be using the asexual on the side as a cuddle buddy. So you got to be very, very careful, you know, very, very careful. I think obviously in meetup groups, there'll be sexuals as well as asexuals. There'll be still a lot of sexuals. But I think, you know, in a group environment, like I said, it's a safer overall environment unless you get a group that's really badly run or some organizer that's a perv and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying it can't happen, but you know, there's a great degree of safety in numbers, as you probably have heard of the term before. So I think you've got to realize that, you know, being in a group, or at least a group environment to start off with until you get to know the people you're going to cuddle, I think is a safer option if you're going to do that. Obviously there are services for professional cuddlers, so you know they should vet the people, but I don't know if they do. So there's sites for it and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm not saying not to do it. If you think it's right for you want to go ahead and give it a go, you know, more power to you. I know there's one asexual and they love being in cuddle groups. There's one site they use all the time. They were telling me about it. They were like, oh, it's really good. They love it. They're really happy. They go to it. So, you know, you've got to do what's right for you at the end of the day. Just be very careful. Take it easy. Make sure you put boundaries in place. Make sure you're all singing from the same hymn sheet, especially if you're singing them on your own. Like I said, I think it's much more important you do your due diligence when you're going to be with someone on their own, you know. And even if it's a professional service you're going through, just remember to go with your instincts. You know, if something doesn't seem right what they're doing with you, and you've not said you want that, or you're not happy with it, you know, because cuddling is a very personal thing. If you're cuddling, you're touching a lot of the body. You've got to remember that. I think obviously with a guy, you're touching more of the physical, the top physique. So there's less like contact of sexual parts. But if you're touching a woman or someone obviously with a female body, then, you know, you are going to be touching their breasts most of the time when you're cuddling. In some way, you're going to have your part of your arm around them. Your body's going to be pressed on them, you know, you're going to be touching sexual parts. So I think you've always got to bear that in mind, you know, like a hug is just like you come and then you release. A cuddle is like you hold them. You could be holding them for ages, like here with you. Do you know what I mean? You could cuddle on the side, you could cuddle frontal way, you could cuddle in between legs and laps. Do you know what I mean? It's a very, very big scope. So just go in with an open mind, go in with what you ideally want in this situation. Think about where you want to try a group first, just to, you know, like for safety, to try it, to see what it's like. And if you want to just get one person, you know, just make sure that your boundaries are firmly in place, especially as an asexual person. Just make sure your boundaries are very, very in place. Because if you do go for a professional cuddling service, right, they will be used to still, I would have thought, mostly seeing sexuals. So the cuddling with sexuals might be very different to cuddling with asexuals. You know, they might be used to certain clients who are used to touching in certain places, because it's a cuddle buddy to a sexual might mean something completely different to a cuddle buddy to an asexual person when you're on your own with them. Do you see what I'm saying? So just really bear that in mind. To be vigilant, to make sure your boundaries in place, to make sure that if you meet up with someone, either professional or on your own, just say, this is where I like to be touched, this is where you know. But don't forget, if it's a cuddle buddy and you're not, you know, say you're not a professional service, you know, they have to do what you want, should be doing what you want because you're paying for the service, right? Or maybe it's a free cuddle buddy service for a site. But you've got to remember that if you're getting someone who's not doing it as just a service, someone who actually wants to do it because they love cuddling as much as you, they might have different boundaries and different ideas to you. They might be like, I want to cuddle, but I want to make out at the same time. That's what I'm here for, you know? And you might be like, well, I just literally want cuddling. I don't want any groping. I don't want any touching. I don't want any like mouth stuff. I just want to sit here cuddling. I want to watch a movie with you for 2 hours and cuddle you because I miss cuddling. Do you see what I mean? So you've really got to make sure you're both on the same hymn sheet. You're both, you know, starting out as you mean to go on. So boundaries are in place. You know, you're not going to be conflicted somewhere down the line, but you might do if you start having feelings for that person. And, you know, you're just going to have an open, honest discussion about it with them. And if, you know, don't forget, if you're cuddle buddies, they could be, it's not monogamous. They could be having like hundreds of cuddle buddies. So if you get feelings for that person, even if you don't think you will, then you might do. Do you know what I mean? And then you're going to have to deal with that when it crops up. So just go in with an open mind about, I'm realistic about what type of person I am. I know my flaws. I know my weaknesses and my strengths. I know I couldn't just cuddle someone without having feelings for them. God, I can, I can't even, like, a lot of the time I've got feelings for people I don't even want to have feelings for. Do you know what I mean? Let alone that. And as a romantic, especially hyper romantic asexual, I couldn't not have feelings for someone. I'd be cuddling them because I really want to be with them. And I want to be, for me, it would usually, I want to be in a relationship with them, to be quite honest. I'm a very black and white girl. I don't even like dating, really. Do you know what I mean? Dating is when people just go and, like, they can see multiple people. I hate that, to be honest. I've never been into dating. I say on this channel I had a date, but I mean, it's really difficult for me, because if I meet a guy for a night, I want to be in a relationship with him, because I can't separate the physicality, the kissing and all that type of thing through not wanting to be with them, because I wouldn't want to do that with someone I wouldn't want to be with in the first place, if you know what I mean. And I can't do that with someone I'm not attracted to. So it's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. I think, you've got to assess what type of person you are. You've got to be realistic and, know yourself really well. I know myself really well. But some people would deny it. Some people are like, oh, no, I won't get feelings for anyone, when really they will. And I think if you're doing that, you're going to do yourself a disfavour. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be completely honest. Like Michael said, that it wouldn't mean anything to him if he cuddled. It doesn't matter to him, right? But if he's always like that, that's great. But what about the other person? If they did find him attractive, if they did like cuddling, if they did want more than just a cuddle, it's never going to happen with him. So the other person would be upset, wouldn't they? If they fell for him, in love with him, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So that's the danger. Like, he might be perfectly fine with just cuddling whoever to make them happy, but it's not going to make them happy in the long term if they fell in love with him. And he's like, well, I told you it was just cuddling. I made that clear in the beginning. Do you know what I mean? So I think you've got to, like, obviously, I think if two asexuals are the same type of orientation, I think if they're both aromantic asexuals, it could work very, very well, because they're more used to having really, really close friendships that like, to some people, outsiders, they may look like romantic relationships more or may look like a relationship, not necessarily romantic, but they might look more like they're a couple, but they're like, no, we're just really close platonic friends. And so I think for two aromantic asexuals that really don't have any grey areas, I think it could work really well. But I think if you're a romantic person, depending on your degree of romance, that there would always be probably someone who got the, who's the romantic side, who got these feelings for the other person at some point. So yeah, it's complicated, which is why I prefer to keep my life black and white most of the time. And I do find dating very difficult, because I'm not really I like kissing loads, and I prefer to do that in a relationship. So that's kind of like why sometimes I jump from just meeting someone to in a relationship, because I can't stand the, oh, well, are we seeing other people type thing. I know that's the way the world is these days, but it's just like really annoys me. It's just like, why do we have to go through all these, are we, aren't we, are we, aren't we, are we, aren't we? Like, let's, like, go and see multiple thousands of people and do whatever. I just hate it so much, to be honest. I think it'd be best for me if I end up being in a relationship with someone who's really like a best friend to me, who I've already known for a very, very long time, before I get in a relationship with them. So I don't, so I know them, like them, love them at least as a friend, and trust them. And then, like, if I get into a relationship with them, I know what I'm going to be let in for, and so did they with me. And therefore everything is already built up, because, and then if you're in a relationship, you're less likely to go out of it, or not want to be in it, if you know what I mean. But my life, I just like it very black and white like that. It's really weird to be in the grey area of asexuality, like with the way I like to kiss, which is very sexual behaviour, because none of the rest of my life is usually very grey. I don't like grey areas. I hate it. I can't stand it. But with my own asexuality, I've got grey areas, which is really, really weird. I've got used to it to a certain extent. It's very odd for me. But yeah, in terms of like dating, I hate the whole dating scene, you know. And I get the theory behind it. The theory is, you know, you make someone sure someone's right for you. So instead of just committing to someone early on your heart, where you're probably likely to get your heart broken, you see several people at once, so you can make an informed choice of if you want to be with any of them. And you do that over a period of months. That's the idea, and that they've got to prove their worth to you, because you can get badly hurt, which I have had hurt in the past, and so I get where they're coming from. But to me, I can't relax with the person totally be myself and kiss them loads if I'm not in a relationship with them, because I just feel this is weird. It's like no man's land. It's like, well, you're more than a friend because I'm kissing you. We're acting like we're in a relationship, but we're not. It just like makes my head like hurt and spin. It's like, well, either you are or you're not. It's like, well, I don't want to do this with the person because I don't want to go too intimate with them, because I don't, you know, we're not in a relationship. But then it's kind of like, well, what do? Do you do a bit more than kissing, or just a peck, or what? You know what I mean? It's just weird. I don't like being in no man's land. I personally hate it. It drives my brain up the wall. It makes me more anxious. So I kind of like, it is or isn't scenario. But the danger of that is I could get with the wrong person very easily, very quickly. And then obviously you have the fallout from it, which is not a good idea. So I kind of feel a little bit stuck in that way. I don't know if anyone's watching that's tried the modern dating scene who's asexual, but it's very, you know, like the proper dating scene I'm talking about, where you see several people at once rather than just going on a date with one asexual. Do you know what I mean? I think it's very difficult. I'd love to know what you think about that, you know. Michael, what do you think about dating? I mean, I know you're not really into dating at all, but I mean, what do you actually think about the whole concept? It's just a bit weird, isn't it? Like seeing multiple people at once. I know why they do it, but it's just, I think it's just weird. Anyway, I'm going to conclude the video tonight. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever had a cuddle buddy and how it worked out. Let me know if you've used the cuddle, professional cuddle services, or if you've gone to like a meetup with people to cuddle, like on meetup.com. They do have some groups. Let me know what benefits you got from a cuddle group. Let me know if you were attracted to someone in a cuddle group, or if you literally felt platonic for them. You don't understand it either, Michael. No, I don't understand the dating scene very easily. I mean, I get the theory behind it, but I just like, I'm kind of an all or nothing girl. And I wear my heart on my sleeve as well, which is, you know, it's kind of huge flaw in some ways, wearing your heart on your sleeve and diving into a relationship where you don't know the person. It's kind of like really bad in some ways, but it's kind of like with me, it's like I can't be bothered to faff around. It's like you're with someone or you're not with someone. Do you know what I mean? And it's like I just hate the whole dating. Like, oh, let's see 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. I just like, it just really pees me off. It's like, how can I settle and relax knowing that they're seeing me on one day and then they've got to see what 5 other women in the next week or whatever. It's just, you know, it's like I don't want them in my mouth if they're just going to snog like 5 other women. It's like, ugh, why do I want that? It's just really weird. I don't, you know, I understand the theory behind it, because, you know, you're supposed to try them out, like try before you buy, and, you know, like all that type of thing. And you're supposed to like give time. And I do understand it's good to give time and get to know someone. I agree with all that. But, you know, like, for me, I think it's really difficult as an asexual person. It's because I don't fit into the normal heterosexual world, so I don't fit into the normal heterosexual dating. But for someone like me who really loves the kissing and needs a lot of physical affection in the kissing sense, and does like a lot of attention, loves all the romance and stuff, I like some of the aspects that a lot of heterosexuals like of the relationship. It's very difficult. It's kind of like I'm in no man's land. It's like, what am I meant to do? Am I meant to get, you know, because if I get into a relationship too quickly with a guy who's no good for me, then obviously I have to like let him go and tell him no good, you know, and which I will do. I'll always do that, whatever I feel for the guy, you know. My own, I love myself more than I'll ever love any guy, you know. But then, you know, you got all the heartache and pain that goes with that, and it's not healthy, you know, to do that a lot, or to do it. It's not healthy when it happens, you know. It's healthy when you split with the person if they're the wrong person for you, though. It's much healthier, you know. You don't want to be spending your life lots of times with the person who's really no good for you. But I just find the whole dating thing very difficult as an asexual person, in terms of like, for me, because I love the kissing so much. It's a big problem. Like, how do I get my kissing needs met when I'm not in a relationship? It's like like some people say maybe you can get a kissing buddy. Do you know what I mean? Like, which is like a cuddle buddy but kissing. So it is relevant to this video, but you know, it's like I couldn't do that. I'd love the person. I just have feelings for them because I'm that type of person. I can't kiss someone I'm not aesthetically attracted to. I can't kiss someone I'm not attracted to in some way. Do you know what I mean? It's the same with cuddling. I would have to be attracted to the person a little bit to want to cuddle them. Even if I was not aesthetically attracted to them, I have to be romantically attracted to them. So I'd still be attracted to them, and I probably think, well, why aren't I aesthetically attracted to them when I'm romantically attracted to them? And that would be frustrating for me, you know. I'll be like, well, I want to like them more, and so for me, it's like very difficult, you know. I think if you're a monogamous asexual, it's harder as well, you know, because I just can't be doing this stuff outside relationship. It's like, well, I can hug my friends. I don't goodbye. I'm quite happy to do that. And I do love my asexual friends, like friends which I never thought I'd even be able to say years ago, which is great. I've got two best asexual guy friends that I love implicitly as my friends. But, you know, that's a bit different to romantic love. Do you know what I mean? And I still really crave the kissing. I miss that. That's the only thing I really miss in a romantic relationship that much is the kissing, really. And a lot of guys, I mean, even younger guys in their early 20s, they've not got as much energy as me. I got so much energy, and I'm not gonna dampen my energetic light for a guy, you know, just because he can't handle, you know, like having an energetic life. You know, I need someone who accepts me and loves me for who I am and loves my energy, you know. Because, you know, I'm really energetic. Like, you know, like guys in their early 20s, they're not even as energetic as me. They like want to go to sleep. I'm like, what? I want to kiss, not go to sleep. Or I want to dance around my room or do website work or something. Do you know what I mean? I'm too busy being hyper to worry about that. So, but I love my life. I have to say, I'm really enjoying the single life at the moment. And I think, like, the important message I do want you to take from this is it's not essential or necessary to have a cuddle buddy. It's an option for you. And don't think if you've got no one to cuddle that you're inadequate or there's something wrong with you, because there isn't. I don't cuddle people outside of relationships. So therefore, I mean, obviously I've had a boyfriend recently that didn't last very long because he was the wrong guy for me. But you know, so I did get some cuddling in, more kissing than cuddling actually. But, you know, like before that, like the last time was a heterosexual guy I dated last year. That was more that was like more kissing, but there was some cuddling. But, you know, like I haven't had a long-term partner since 2011, you know, and I've been like a couple of years without any cuddling anyone. Do you know what I mean? Or physical contact, like in that way, intimate contact. So you can be very, and I was really happy during that time. I'm still happy now. So you can like be happy on your own as well. And you can still raise your self-esteem. It's really important as well that when you are single on your own, you are working on your own confidence, your own self-esteem, because the last thing you want to do is get a relationship with someone because you are feeling lonely or unhappy, because that'll just backfire. That's the worst thing you can do. I have to say that, you know, I've met people and they were like, oh, I was really lonely and unhappy till I met you. And in part, that seems really romantic. It's like, oh, that's really sweet. They're saying that they're happy now they're with me, and you want them to be happy, right? Because you love them or care about them, right? But the danger is if they were lonely or unhappy before, then they're using you as a way to stop being bored and to you know, make them less lonely because there's something missing in their life, if you know what I mean. And that could turn out potentially really bad and unhealthy if they're just using you in a way. Because I do know some people, they don't realize it, but they get into relationships because they're lonely and they haven't got anyone, and that's the wrong reason, and they get with someone who's not really suitable for them, or they're not suitable for that person, but because they're lacking any fun, excitement or happiness in their life because they're lonely, then they look to that person to fulfill their needs in that way. And the other person can't always do that, and you're getting with them for the wrong reasons. You should be getting with them because you can make them happy as well, because you can both make each other happy. You can grow in the relationship and develop together and become better versions of yourself together, like enhancing and empowering each other's lives. Not so that, you know, like one's coming from a lack, so you're just like there to fill in for them. Like maybe they're bored with watching the TV week after week, there's nothing much on, and you know, they got no one to talk to, so you fill that gap. That's not a reason for them to be in a relationship with you. That is a very unhealthy foundational relationship. They should be there because you enhance your life. Like, I love my single life, right? I find it really difficult to be in a relationship with someone, if I'm honest, because I so love my single life, you know, because I live my life very, very unconventionally, and I don't want to actually live with anyone. I want to live separately from them, which is better for my needs, because I do not want to be going to bed at 10 o'clock or even midnight. That's far too early for me. I want to be going to bed between 2 and 4 in the morning, ideally 4. And a lot of other people, like guys, they don't want that. They're too tired. They want to go to bed early and do whatever they want to do, which is fine. But I need to live separately from them. It's better for my health, my mental, my emotional state, if I carry on living the young teenager life I live, you know? And I love it. Just, you know, like, I might be with a young guy who's much younger than me, but actually I'm usually the younger one because of the way I live my lifestyle, and I'm happy that way. And I think it's really important. And when you're a single person, you are literally filling your cup up. So you're doing a lot of things in your life to make yourself really, really happy. You know, you're putting stuff in your life that makes you happy. You're doing hobbies and interests. You're able to give yourself a cuddle and lots of love. You're able to fill your own cup in life. You're, you know, like when you get into a relationship, you're not doing it because you're lonely or, you know, lonely and upset and in pain. You're doing it because that person should enhance your life, and you should be working in tandem with them to make your life better. And you should do it because you feel that, you know, I just want this person in my life. I want them in my life, but I want them, you know, more than just a friend. I want them because, you know, I really feel like that's a person who's for me to spend the rest of my life. That's who I'm happiest being around. That's who I love personality wise. That's who I enjoy spending time with. You know, I'm great as a single person on my own, but this person enhances my life and makes me feel better, even more better than I make myself feel. Do you know what I mean? You should always making yourself feel the best you can feel, you know? You're not always going to be able to do it and achieve that, but it's really important that you try. And you know, I mean, there is a place in my heart, I'll be honest with you, where I do feel that I have a soulmate from probably a previous life, if I'm honest. And I kind of do search for that person, but you know, I have to understand that it's not happening right now, and I have to focus on other things like my finances and my career. It's really, really important to me, and I have to know that I'm very, very, very happier usually as a single person. I've always been happier so far to date in my life as overall as a single person, not being in a relationship, because you know I haven't found the right guy for me yet, and not someone who's really worthy of my love or them valuing me like they should do. Not someone who's like as kind as they should be, and not someone who really genuinely cares about me on a fundamental deep level and wants me to be happy, you know. So I think it's really important that you know, while you're single, you do take time out for you. If you do need to cuddle someone, obviously, and that is one benefit of being in a cuddle group, is you don't specifically get into a relationship that's no good for you quickly, because you've got other people to cuddle, so you don't have that need. With me it is difficult because I do have a kissing need. I don't know how to address that at the moment. It either means going out like to clubs and stuff and just kissing a guy for a night or something. Maybe it means dating, but then I hate dating. It just really annoys me. And obviously I end up fancying the person more in a relationship with them. So then the other alternative is doing it in a relationship, which is not happening at the moment, not likely to happen for some time. Or I just retrain my brain at the moment to put kissing aside, or I kiss myself more, you know. So there are quite a lot of options, but you know, like to do the kissing I really, really, really want to do, I would love to be in a secure romantic relationship long term for it to happen, really. So I just have to like either wait or change my mindset around about that, really, and think I don't need that. But I do know it's an innate need of mine, so it's kind of difficult. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video here for now. Whatever you choose to do, just be safe, love yourself more than anything. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. Thank you, Michael, for tuning in. I really appreciate that. Thanks for butterscotch chips as well. That's a really cute name, butterscotch chips. I wonder what butterscotch chips taste like. I don't eat chips and I can't have butterscotch, but it's a very, very interesting concept, isn't it? I just thought, I wonder if asexuals like eating butterscotch chips. You'll have to let me know, butterscotch chips, if you're still watching this show. Oh, I've just finished now, Heather, so you have to go back and watch the rest of this video. But yeah, butterscotch chips. I want to know if any asexuals has tried chips dipped in butterscotch now. I think it's really important. Anyway, really nice to see you, Heather. I hope you enjoy watching the video. when you play it back. Thanks, Michael, for tuning in. Thanks for the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Anyone who hasn't already subscribed, hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now, post a new video. Thank you so much, Michael, for tuning in tonight, because I know it's really late for you, and it's lovely to have you back. I do miss you on this channel when I don't see you. So it's been quite a while, so I really appreciate you tuning in. Lots of love to you and Heather and Butterscotch Chips and anyone else who's watching. And don't forget to embrace your quirky and each other. So I will see you on the next video or live stream, and share this with a friend if you think they may benefit from it. Take care, and I will see you soon. Night, Heather. Night, Michael. Take care. Bye. Or good morning, wherever you are. Bye.